M.E.L the Pines. Welcome to the M.E.L Show. Deep inside one of us, there is an aspiration. That's something that we all want to do. May that be big or small. But somehow, along the line, challenges happen. And when we hear about a story, or an inspiring story, or we read about it, then we get that oomph, something like a voice saying, I gotta do something about it. And this evening, we are here to share with you many inspiring stories. And to help me welcome our first guest, we have Fuzzy right here. Say hello, Fuzzy. Doesn't he look handsome? And he is getting ready for the holidays. What a lovely hat. Fuzzy, let's welcome our first guest. It's actually about a hidden gem in Catalina. And these two partners are actually best friends too. Isn't that great? Yeah. They own a restaurant called It's Greek to Me. It is really the hidden gem. So help me welcome Jimmy Pastore and Jeff Bridge. Come on, Jimmy and Jeff. And I will see you in a little bit. Welcome back. Tonight we are joined by wonderful guests, Jimmy Pastore and Jeff Bridge, the restaurateurs, owners of It's Greek to Me.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
I'm glad you made special time for us here at Access Tucson. And the story or stories that you will share with us this evening will inspire many people. So Jeff, tell us, what was your background? How did you get into this restaurant business?
Well, let's see. We always had a passion for owning our own restaurant. We met 33 years ago cooking together in a Greek restaurant. And we thought to ourselves, you know, one day we have to do this for ourselves. Then we went down different paths into the, corporate world, if you will. And then kind of came full circle, and here we are. We own a fantastic restaurant.
Yeah, I remember back in 1982, right here in Tucson, we were working down on 4th Avenue. And we worked real closely together, became very, very good friends, were at each other's weddings, and we're in touch for pretty much our whole lives. And we've talked over the years of, someday we're going to go out and have to do that. We're going to have to go have our own restaurant. We got to have the best restaurant in Tucson.
Okay.
And that's kind of what brought us to what happened 17 months ago, is we took over a restaurant up in Catalina and given it a shot.
Okay. So how many years are you now in the restaurant business?
Well, we took over July of last year.
Oh,
so we're almost have completed our first year and a half.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So while you're going through that process, what sort of challenges have you faced?
Well, getting back into the restaurants after, 30 years of being out of restaurants was a big enough challenge. Things have changed over the years, and we've, learning how to, we both know how to cook. I cook a little better than he does. But, we had to, working with hiring and all of the challenges that come with, a different generation of people working for us, because we used to work together at the age now that we have people working for us. So not only do you deal with the food and the customers, but the people that you hire and you employ and you help them earn a living. It's a challenge, but it's a great feeling, because it's not just about us doing the restaurant. It's about everybody that comes into the restaurant to eat, plus the people that work there, how they support their families as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Well, you two were trying to get used to being friends and business partners at the same time. There's got to be some funny stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Well,
You know, Jeff and I, started working together
did that not work?
back in 1982. He was the broiler man. I was the saute man in the restaurant, and we worked for a very crazy chef. And that was back in the days when, things weren't so subdued in the kitchen with the chef.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, it was kind of like Hell's Kitchen 1982 with the guy that we worked with.
Really?
And I can't repeat some of the things that used to come out of his mouth, like
I
they
gotcha.
put on
Yeah.
television
Okay.
these days. And we really realized that we didn't, we saw what we did, 30 years ago, and we kind of decided that we wanted to do a little bit different because we've had a 30-year span of being in the corporate world, and then decided that, we're going to take everything that we've learned over the last 30 years and try to incorporate that. And we walked into this restaurant and said, where do we buy the food?
Right.
Who turns on the gas? Who turns on the lights? Who pays that bill?
Exactly.
That kind of thing. So those were the challenges of actually running the business and then hiring the people. And so there's some of the stories that we could tell, but probably better not.
Okay.
And for me, I would add that I've dealt with leading people in the corporate world on different programs and projects, and this is a lot different. This is a lot different because you have people who their livelihoods depend on great food, excellent service, which we do provide both. And so that's a little extra challenge as opposed to just, like I said, being in, a big company where that everything is going to be okay no matter how well you do.
Right.
You know.
Well, speaking of great food and excellent service, I heard about your great awards. So we actually had the opportunity to visit your restaurant and talk.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is one of our.
Go ahead.
This is our two Best of the Northwest in 2014 awards. Oh, and so right now we're looking at the wine room, which is one of our two dining rooms, and this one has a nice ambience to it. This mural is from Santorini, and this is in our large dining room, and provides a different atmosphere in that it's almost like you're over there in Greece. It can get a little loud, but people have a fun time, and they include belly dancing and stuff like that.
Well, what's interesting is we get people coming in from New York and Chicago and San Francisco. And this is our flaming Saganaki cheese. This is always exciting what happens. We especially like serving the people from the fire department when they come in.
I think this is fun.
Yeah, this is a cheese from Greece that we flame with brandy and put out with lemon and serve with pita bread. It's one of the most popular appetizers that we have in the restaurant.
I'm the executive chef here at It's Greek to Me. First, I'd like to show you a Greek salad. This is our house-made, hand-rolled spanakopita. It's also served with our tzatziki sauce. And this here, and here we have our house-made baklava. And here we have Alex, our sous chef, slicing some gyro meat made with breadcrumbs, beef, and lamb, and certain spices.
This is just wonderful Greek food. We got the combo appetizer, which had so many wonderful things. I've been to a lot of Greek restaurants, and this has to be the best Greek restaurant outside Greece. It is wonderful.
That is the hidden gem in Catalina, and we definitely invite you to come out and visit. They have the best seafood, and for catering, you can always contact It's Greek to Me. Thank you, Jimmy and Jeff, for
Thank
joining
you for having us.
You bet.
And hopefully the story that you share will be motivating people.
Yeah, don't ever give up on your dreams.
Absolutely.
Hi, Fuzzy. We are on to our next guest. Guess who it is? Okay, all right, I'll give you the answer. It is, or actually I should say, it's about the book called Actors Rendezvous. You probably have a good idea what it's about. Yes, it's about a journey in Los Angeles by an actor and what he's gone through, all his ups and downs, okay? And I tell you, there's some pretty challenging and funny things about it. So help me welcome Richard Pines.
We need to do it right, and we need to do it fast. I don't want any screw-ups.
I don't know about you, but I've never screwed up.
Well, there's a first time for everything. Make sure this isn't it.
Since when are you giving the orders?
Since Jerome put me in charge.
Why would Jerome trust you with the operation?
Yeah, where is he anyway?
He's not coming.
Why? He's never missed a shipment before.
Jerome isn't coming because we don't work for him anymore.
If we don't work for Julie and Jerome, then who do we work for?
All right, come on, let's move. The sooner we get out of here, the better. Come on.
Freeze! PCPD! Hands up. Hey, nobody move. I want you all to keep your hands in the air and turn around slowly. And you all know the drill. Down on your knees and your hands behind your heads.
That was some intense scene. Richard, welcome to our show. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you for having me. That was a little clip from General Hospital, one of the longest running television shows at daytime, over 50 years. And I was out in Los Angeles the summer of 2013, and I took a workshop with Mark Teschner. And the funny thing about Hollywood is that you never know. 13 months later, I got an email, and Mark said, I'd like to bring you on the show as a hired gun. So it worked out well, very well.
Now, some people wait tables in Los Angeles. Others work as bartenders. What do you do during the day?
You mean keep your day job?
Right, right.
I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for the last 10 years. But I joined the Screen Actors Guild, actually became eligible back in 1995. I worked on a film in San Diego, made for TV, called The Corpse Has a Familiar Face. Actually, at the time, starring Elizabeth Montgomery and Dennis Farina, who was in Law and Order. I was Dennis's stand-in. So I've been an actor on and off since '95, a lot of community theater in San Diego. But to pay the bills, I'm a certified teacher, and I recently took a little temporary early retirement. I've been a teacher for the last 10 years. I started in Oakland, 2 years in Florida, and I spent the last 7 years working here in Pima County as a certified government teacher. So that's how I kind of kept things moving.
This passion for acting, how did this come about?
I've got to be honest, I got into it accidentally. I was working for an attorney in San Diego, and at the time, Stu Siegel Productions was producing Renegade. And I walked into the office one day after I picked up some subpoenas from the law firm I was working for, and I walked in there and said, do you ever need anybody in the background as an extra? And they said, what are you doing next Tuesday? And I said, nothing. They said, we want you to be a mafia hitman. And actually, that was in the episode Rabbit and the Fox. And you can still go on YouTube and see that. And I had like a 60-second bit in it, little close-up. And I tried to shoot somebody in a phone booth. So from there, I said, I got the acting bug, and I took some classes at the Old Globe Theater and did some community theater. But initially, to get into the business, all actors have a different story. Mine was accidental. It's worked out to be to my advantage so far.
The book that you recently wrote, what would the audience or what kind of person who has not been to Los Angeles expect from it?
Well, the first 3 letters of your show would match it perfectly: motivate, educate, and laugh. Because the journey that I undertook, you had to be motivated. You have to educate yourself about the industry, and you certainly have to be able to laugh. Actors Rendezvous came about while I was in Tucson a couple years ago, and I said, you know, I'm going to move out there and spend 30 days and just to really see what it's like to try to break in. I traveled 1,400 miles in 30 days. I visited 63 different casting directors, and basically it was a situation where knocking on doors, an actor's rendezvous, it's two-pronged. For people that are not interested in or just go to the movies, they can see what it's like to be somebody other than Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp. Not that they didn't have their struggles, but also for the people that want to get into the business, this is what to expect if you walk into Los Angeles, cold call.
Okay. And for those who are young, aspiring actors, what can you suggest or recommend?
If you're going to move to Los Angeles, enroll in a university. Pursue your degree if you're into vocations. Pursue something in a vocational aspect. Get your education. And then attack Hollywood on your days off, when you're not working, things of that nature. But I would never suggest for somebody to save $10,000 and drive out to Hollywood. I'm not to say they wouldn't make it. I would just have kind of a backup plan and educate myself, because you can always work on breaking into Hollywood at any time or any age.
Okay. If they would like to get a copy of your book, and we'd like to show the book right here, where can they or how can they get your information?
You can go to my website, Richard Pines, P-I-N-E-S, richardpinesactor.com, and you can purchase a copy there. Also on my website, you'll see a lot of different demo reels, and you can enjoy some certain postings that I've put down just for the average actor on the street. So richardpinesactor.com, or you can contact me directly at richardpinesgmail.com.
Don't you look so excited? All right, ooh, that's a lot of enthusiasm. Hey, welcome again, and we have George Dorwart, our stained glass artist. Thank you for coming to our show, George.
Welcome.
And what do we have here?
Well, I got into stained glass roughly 10 years ago. I was always fascinated by stained glass, and every time I went into a church and looked at the stained glass windows, I was like dumbfounded how they did that. How did they get such beautiful colors? And I just decided to myself I wanted to learn to do it. So I took one stained glass class, and after that I was it just fell into place. And then after I started doing stained glass, I wanted to learn how to do dichroic jewelry, and I bought myself a little kiln, and I learned to cut glass, and I asked questions when I went to the glass houses, and I met some friends that did stained glass, and they taught me a little bit, but most of it's all practice and hands-on experience. But one thing about stained glass, you're your own artist. You can do anything you want, any colors you want. And you can put a lot of color in your life just by having a beautiful piece in your window. And I did this one. I kind of copied this pattern off the internet a little bit, but then I changed colors and I changed some different things about it. I don't like to make the same piece twice.